welcome to the Everything is Earned podcast. I am your host, CLE Tallboy, and I'm here with Tim, aka It's Contagious, and we are breaking down everything happening in the world of Cleveland sports. It's been a long time, guys. I know we had episode 1, and we had a little bit of a gap between 1 and now. Had some personal things going on, but we're back and you're ready to go. So we're going to jump into things right away, and we're going to break down what the heck has happened in the last week or so here in Cleveland sports. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about everything going on with the Browns. Obviously, they had the firings, and really we're going to get into what to expect from the Browns going forward and what to look for in this matchup here against the Chiefs on Sunday. We're also going to get into the Cavs and what their season outlook is going to be. Obviously, Ty Lue is gone, and what are they going to do from here, and what kind of talent they have on the roster, and what's a realistic win expectation for them. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit of Indians just for fun, but that's going to be today's episode. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to start with these Browns.
What's up, Cleveland? As you know, this weekend was crazy, but at least for me and Mike over here, it was kind of like Christmas. There was a bunch of firings, but we all kind of felt good about them.
Yeah, I mean, even though we lost against the Steelers and the Cavs were still winless, it felt like we won on Monday. It was very odd.
Victory Monday?
Yeah.
Without you. That's even better.
It was great. Yeah, there was no checking of the tape. It was just simply, you fired. Like, toodles. Anyways, it was great on Twitter. Typically NBA Twitter owns all sports, sports Twitter stuff. But on Monday, it was the best I've ever seen NFL Twitter. There was GIFs flying. Baker was dancing on everyone's timelines. It was a lot of fun. And it just seemed like it was that we had hope again that had, quickly faded after being 2-2-1. It was weird. We were ready to have a party, and then all of a sudden, Hugh Jackson coached us out of like 4 wins.
Yeah, well, what, 2-5-1 now? Everyone thinks that we're going to kind of taint the rest of the season. So we have 8 weeks remaining. Crazy, come get some. Gregg Williams is now interim head coach.
Come get some. Gregg Williams is going to be the right guy to replace Hugh. For the time being,
let's rephrase that for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, for the next 8 weeks, Gregg Williams will be the guy to replace Hugh.
Not all until in the future.
No, if you end up with Gregg Williams in the offseason as your head coach, you messed up. Because there's so many good candidates out there, and for the first time in a long time, the Browns' job is very attractive. I mean, it's like you just took the glasses off, took the ponytail out, and just wish your hair around, and all of a sudden that's the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they're Miss Congeniality good looking right now. It's great if you're a head coaching candidate, and it's going to be a very popular opening. So, Gregg Williams got 8 weeks left, and he's the right guy for the last 8 weeks because he's a motivational coach. Anytime you fire a head coach and another coordinator, it's not the norm. And so the first thing you got to do is motivate the players to continue to play their hardest, continue to play to the end of games. And then you got to remember, anytime a pro player is out on the field, that's putting stuff on film, and that's going to matter for the rest of their career. So they have to remember that, and they have to remember that there's still 8 games left, and they're still competing for something. I mean, the Browns, not only the head coaching openings, but the Brown players need to know that this organization is going in the right direction, and you should want to put some good stuff on film for the next season. So it's important that they play strong the rest of the way, and Gregg Williams, I think, will get that out of them. So not only you got Gregg Williams, you got Freddie Kitchens, the running back coach, being promoted to the offensive coordinator, and he really doesn't have any experience calling plays. He called plays in the last preseason game this year, and he did a pretty...
Against Detroit. They started out in the first half winning 25-0 before they put the second and third stringers in.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad.
It wasn't too bad. And expect a lot of run plays. Being in the running back coach, you should see some quality runs, and I'm sure he's able to identify the run plays that weren't working, and he'll probably toss those out. So I expect him to clean the playbook up, take some of the things out that aren't working, and really try to insert some of his own ideas and his own wrinkles into the plays.
Definitely not going to be doing any double reverse sweeps, either in the red zone or near our own end zone.
Yeah, that was really bad. And Todd Haley, for as good as he was of a coordinator in Pittsburgh, didn't seem to bring any of that here in Cleveland. And all that riff stuff between him and Hugh was just bad and ugly. And Jimmy Haslam said it on the press conference the other day. I mean, Monday was all about removing internal discord. And, you need an organization to run smoothly if you're going to get wins. And that's really been the problem so far with Jimmy Haslam, is he's always done things kind of in the weird order. When you get a GM, the GM should hire the head coach, and the head coach should bring in his guys. So whether that means Gregg Williams is going to be here next year or not is yet to be seen, but you definitely need to get a Dorsey guy, and you definitely need to have the head coach bring in his guys around him so that they're all on the same page and that they're working in unison. We hear all this lockstep nonsense every year, and it's never the case. So now that you have your quarterback, now that you have your GM, this is a position where a lot of people are going to want this job.
Yeah, you have a lot of pieces already in place compared to the last couple of years where it seems we had little to no talent at all. A lot of people thought, especially Jimmy Haslam, that it wasn't right to judge Hugh Jackson with the team he had.
Yeah, how unfair of the Browns to fire Hugh Jackson in his most successful season. I mean,
he did win 2 games this year. He did only win 1 combined.
He doubled up.
He
still mixed a lot of this season.
And so maybe next year he'll win 4, and then after that he won 8 and 16. Maybe he won 32 5 years from now. But we'll never see that now because we fired him.
It was probably because he needed to get his hands in on the offense a little bit, and maybe because he was too busy working on the special teams to really get it to all come together. But like you said, we'll never really know. Okay, so big things to look out for this upcoming game versus the Chiefs. The first one being the run defense. The run defense has been really bad over the last couple weeks, and it's been a problem all season, but it's been really exposed over the last couple weeks, especially on the left side. Now,
starting with playing the Chargers, they had 250 yards rushing.
Yeah,
mostly coming from the outside run.
Keenan Allen outrushed what's his
Melvin
face?
Gordon with sweep plays.
Yeah, it was gross. So obviously Kareem Hunt is a really good back for the Chiefs over there, and he's been hurting teams in multiple ways, not only through the run game but through the pass game. He has 5 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks through the air, so you gotta really know where he's at all times. One of the things to look out for with containing the run and containing a running back like Kareem Hunt is Jamie Collins. Now, Jamie Collins has played his best 2 football games in the last games against Pittsburgh and against the Buccaneers, and whether that's because he was in trade rumors or not kind of remains to be seen. So we'll see if he regresses or if he continues the strong play, but something to look out for and see how Jamie Collins plays, because he was one of those players that quit in the Chargers game, and I really want to see him continue to play strong and have a good rest of the season. He might be playing for a contract, he might be playing for some pride, or he might not care at all. So we'll see how it all breaks down with that aspect of it. The second thing we really want to talk about is the turnovers. So the Browns have generated 22 turnovers and have only scored 34 points off those turnovers this season. That is historically bad. When you get those turnovers, you definitely need to cash them in, and there's some stats out there that just really scream how bad that is.
Since 2006, 38 teams with a turnover margin of +8 or better has never had a losing record until the 2018 Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that's just one thing that Hugh Jackson has on his wonderful record with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he had a really gross record. What is it?
336-1.
Yeah, it's great.
But speaking of historically low numbers, in that record of 336-1 during the course of Hugh Jackson's Browns head coaching career,
out of the 219 NFL coaches,
Hugh Jackson ranked 218th.
Yeah, it's not great. Record-wise, he sucks.
Coaching-wise,
he sucks.
Human-wise, he's a
good
good guy.
He's not a bad guy.
We're playing professional sports, and being a good guy doesn't really get you wins. And I think Hugh Jackson demonstrated that.
Yeah, he's not really good, and he never really had the right answer for anything, and I'm just happy that he's gone and that we don't have to worry about him anymore. So
we'll decide if he's good or not by checking the tape later.
Yeah, we'll check a tape. We'll see. We'll see what it says. Upon further review, you cannot get fired twice for the same job. Maybe if you're Mike Brown. Mike Brown got fired twice. And that takes us right into the Cavs. So the Cavs also fired a couple coaches over the weekend. They got rid of Damon Jones, and more importantly, they got rid of Tyronn Lue.
But don't let that distract you from the Cavs picking up Ante Zizic's third-year option.
Yeah, they did.
Which was a huge move.
Yeah, I mean, Ante has really been the catalyst of all the winning over the last year or so. And when it comes down to it, he's going to be your core going forward.
Off the bench.
Yeah, off the bench. In all seriousness, though, I don't think Ante's game translates well to this year's, or this time of the NBA. He's built for like 2008, 2010.
And he's not really built for then either. We wanted him to be built for 2008, but he really didn't put any work in the offseason.
Yeah, he wasn't playing 2008 for the Cavs, but he kind of reminds me of Mozgov a little bit. You know, he's got like the build for it,
height.
But he has better post moves. He has better post moves, and he finishes better on the rim. He is foreign though. You're all right about that. Also, how good is Luka Doncic looking so far? I really think that he is going to be a...
Cavs?
Yeah, if you would have made a move for him, I would have supported it. But nonetheless, so we're post Tyronn Lue, and the Cavs got their first win against the Hawks.
Weird. Turns out Ty Lue is toxic. We all remember Ty Lue, his like little absence last year, later in the season. And during that time, associate head coach at the time, Larry Drew, went 8-1.
Yeah, all Larry Drew does is win. I mean, he's got 10 wins in 11 tries, and it's a weird spot. No, he has 10 wins now.
Okay, so then he was 9-1 last year, and now he's 10-1.
Yeah, now he's 10-1.
That's not what I said.
That's exactly what you said. Anyways,
I said 8-1.
No, he's won another game than you thought he did.
Yeah, so I did not say what I thought I wanted to say.
Okay, so anyways, Larry Drew, all he does is win. And
yeah, we saw during last year that he was able to put in the right players at the right times and then take out the right players at the wrong times.
You mean like a rotation?
Yeah. Like something that Ty Lue never understood.
Like a rotation. I mean, part of that could be his loyalty to players. I mean, he was a players coach. I mean, that's kind of a weird term that we always kind of throw around. I don't know exactly what that means.
It means that it's a coach that used to be a player. I got your mind. Don't worry about that.
Is that what it means, or does it mean that the players connect well with the coach?
That could be it too. But you could call Jason Kidd a player's coach, and he got fired twice.
He also had a weird run-in with somebody. Who was that? It was like he tried to go fisticuffs with someone's girlfriend.
Someone that's not his wife.
Yeah.
I don't know. Talk to Toby Bryant about it. Oh, okay. A little sidetracked. Back to the Cavs.
Yeah, back to the Cavs. So Damon Jones is gone. No soup for anyone anymore. And JR is currently
still here. So I guess he could. There could be soup.
Did you really think it was odd that Damon Jones was the first one to be gone out of those two, considering what JR did in Game 1 of the Finals? Basically, JR isn't happy in Cleveland, and there's been some reports that he could step away from the team. JR refuted that on Twitter and said that he actually was asked if he wanted to step away, and he decided to still be here. I got the hiccups.
And him...
Yeah, JR and Korver are definitely players to look for the trade market. It's odd because I love Korver, and I really like what he brings to the table.
I'm fine with it because I want him to get a championship. But he deserves it, and he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, where would you put Korver? I don't want him to go to the Sixers because the trade rumor that we heard in the offseason was Jared Bayless, and I don't think that's an upgrade.
But if you don't pull Dwayne Wade trade and do the right thing, then the Sixers would be the right thing to do because he got drafted by the Sixers.
Ooh, a little throwback there. I kind of like that. It's not terrible, but it's not the best either.
But if you want to be a good guy,
why not put him?
Are we gonna do the Hugh Jackson mentality?
Put him on the Thunder.
Are we gonna act like
Thunder,
a professional sports
Thunder.
team?
Put him on the Thunder. I don't know.
We'll not to be a championship contender.
They got Paul George still, and they got rid of.
We like Paul George. He's good.
They got rid of Melo.
Plus, is not the answer.
I don't know if Russ equates to playoff wins yet.
Neither is Andre Roberson.
Yeah, Robinson is not going to be the person to help you win a game. Anyways,
put him with the Lakers. I'm fine with that. Give me Josh Hart.
No, that's not happening.
Give me a lesser player. Give me Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson, whatever. You can have Lance Stevenson.
When we played Lakers in later November, was it 21st? We didn't have another throwback to him blowing in LeBron too.
Okay, let's get out of the ridiculousness. So the Cavs are without a head coach, and Larry Drew wants to be the interim, and
he wants the Cavs to renegotiate his contract, which they've hit like kind of a stalemate on. And it's been rumored that Avery Johnson is in the running for
being the head coach. Yeah, so it's a weird situation because the Cavs have historically given a lot of money to coaches that haven't stuck around for a very long time, Ty Lue being the most recent one, but we're still paying Mike Brown. We did some fun little math earlier on our Twitter, and Mike Brown got a $20 million contract when he came back for the 2013-2014 season. He only was on the roster for a year, and they won 33 games. So we calculated that for each win, the Cavs played him $606,060 and some odd change.
Or if you're a nerd and geek like me, that would be over the course of 1,825 days. That's $10,958 a day, or $456 an hour, or $7.61 a minute. So we definitely didn't do most of him.
You gotta think that like Dan Gilbert has someone else write that check, and just like when it comes to reviewing the payroll for the Cavs, he's like, just get it away from me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it. I'm paying like 6 coaches right now. It's just not pretty, and he's probably like,
is Paul Silas still being paid? I hope not.
I hope not. But you're definitely paying 2 coaches right now, and you're going to pay a third soon. So you better not give too much money to either Larry Drew or to Avery Johnson.
But if you do, you better do it right.
Yeah, it's a big moment here because you need someone who's going to develop players and have some patience, and you have someone who's going to have to manage these young guys and keep them online. So Avery Johnson's an interesting one because he's the Alabama head coach, which is Colin Sexton's former head coach in college. So that's an interesting pairing. If you put him together with Sexton, and then Avery Johnson also coached Dirk Nowitzki with the Mavericks, I kind of like the idea.
Which is not on the Cavs.
I know you don't like the idea, though.
He didn't finish his NFL career too great.
NBA career?
NBA coaching career. He was a player as well. He did coach the Nets when they were in New Jersey. And I have that for you in just a minute.
Yeah, he didn't do that great with New Jersey. I mean, the roster was kind of gross. It was
respectable during the time period in 2010 through 2013. He had 24-58 record, then 22-44. It was the lockout season in 2011, and then he was 14-14 before he was fired. By the way, this was pre bid 3, but they still had pieces. They still had Derek Favors, who was a top 10 pick. That was supposed to be good, and then part of like the whole Avery Johnson turnover, they traded him as well for the new regime. But he's been disappointing if he doesn't have great talent in Dallas, and I don't want to see that. We need to develop talent. We need to develop and bring cohesion with the veteran players that we have and that we signed on with Kevin Love, and I don't think he brings that.
Counterpoint: Darren Williams just signed his mega contract of 5 years, $99 million, and we all know what happened to Darren Williams after he signed that contract. He found a box of donuts, and he found poor shot selection.
And he lost his hairline.
Yeah, he lost his hairline, and everything went bad. Darren Williams went downhill real quick after he signed that mega contract, and all the Nets' future and hopes and dreams went down with it. And that's not Avery Johnson's fault. So, despite the fact that his record wasn't what you'd like it to be, I think Avery brings something to the table with his former coaching of Dirk in Dirk's early years. That's huge. And then him coaching Sexton last year is perfect because now you can take it to the next level with Sexton, and it's a really good connection there. And ultimately, no one should have a problem with that because your number 8 pick is part of the future, and
Was that a question?
George Hill is a veteran on the back end of his career, so you really should highly consider Avery Johnson. Even though you don't agree with it, I think it's a great idea. I think only if you sign him for a moderate contract. I don't want to see him sign them for beyond probably 2 or 3 years, and it shouldn't be some mega deal because he hasn't coached the NBA in a few years now.
We'll make it similar to like a player contract, but it's like a what's the word I'm trying to
2 year with the team
No,
option?
it's like a prove it.
Oh, like
season.
incentivize the contract?
No, like a prove it season. Like give him a 1 year deal. See how he does. See how if the team makes any progress, any improvement. And if they don't, then you can leave.
Well, he's built up that program in
Maybe
Alabama
do a 1-and-1
well.
option. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, that's definitely something to consider. But yeah, I mean the Cavs they're in a weird spot right now. Kevin Love's gone for a while now too. That he's got that
With
weird
a foot injury.
injury.
It was supposed to be a toe, but they upgraded it to like a foot injury. So that was supposed to be 2 to 3 weeks. If Mick Lloyd said, but it might be a little bit more.
He consulted the doctor that KD dealt with back in 2015 in regards to his his foot injury, and the doctor's prognosis was to rest it for 3 weeks and to see if they can avoid surgery. I just don't want to see it turn into we're resting it and having it in this walking boot to we gotta have a surgery and it's gonna put further down the line, and now you're in a total tank season. I mean, people think this is a tank season right now, and you could argue that's probably the best move with some top level talent coming out. But I think Dan Gilbert still wants to have a profitable season, and that means winning games.
Yeah, that's only a fan's opinion. Larry Drew, Ty Lue when he was still here, and all the players, the veteran ones that won championship in 2016, all on the same page that they want to compete and win games. So the only people who think that are the fans that want a top pick. And that's understandable when you have Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett kind of sitting there.
Yeah, but you got to take your chance of the lottery then too, and the lottery is not a sure thing. But I think you have decent pieces on the team. You have Jetty, who is going to have a pretty good year.
He's going to be actually a catalyst.
You have
Ante.
You have Hood, who is in a prove-it contract, who is coming on a little bit here.
Yeah, we saw him put up 26 and have that massive dunk against Atlanta just the other night.
Yeah, that's a big confidence boost. That's the most points he's scored in a Cavs uniform, so that's a big deal.
I think Larry Drew was part of that kind of the outcoming to the Rodney Hood party, because we all know Rodney Hood can put up points. It's just a matter of being comfortable in the system and finding that scoring role. And I think similar to how Jordan Clarkson found his role on the bench.
Yeah, I mean Rodney Hood has the opportunity to go ahead and do that, and if Larry Drew is going to give him the confidence to do it, go ahead and score and take ownership of the offense, that's great, and I'd love to see him blossom into a player we can keep here long term. But it's something that we gotta keep an eye on, and it's going to be interesting for the next month or so, without Kevin Love, to see what the Cavs have, and then it'll be even more interesting when Kevin Love comes back. Is Kevin Love going to take him to the next level? Or is this team going to be, in full-out tank mode by the time he's able to return? So that's kind of stuff going on with the Cavs right now. But in the meantime, they'll be a gritty, fun team to watch. But they're going to be frustrating because you're going to see turnovers, you're going to see missed opportunities, and you're going to see some poor defense in the pick and roll.
Especially in Colin Sexton, and the fact that we don't have a true center.
So big players to watch right now. You're going to look at Sexton, you're going to look at Hood, you're going to look at Clarkson.
You look at Jetty.
And you're going to look at Larry Nance, who's come on strong over the last couple games.
And he has to. We just paid him. We're paying him $45 million over the next 4 years. So,
yeah, you definitely got to see some production out of him. And I want to continue to see him pull that little 16-footer, because if he can hit that consistently, that's going to open up his game, and that's going to give him more minutes.
And that's to make him the stat sheet stuffer that Austin Carr was talking about the other day.
Where the heck has Larry Nance ever been a stat sheet stuffer? Austin Carr sometimes is just maddening with what he says on the broadcast. But that's neither here or there. All right, so very last point. We're going to talk about the Indians for just 2 seconds here. The Indians extended Carrasco for the next year. They picked up Otero's option, and then they declined Geyer's option. All fine with me. I'm not a huge Geyer fan, so I didn't think that was a necessary thing to bring him back. And then the last thing about the Indians is all the people on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever, talking about the countdown till the first pitch of next year or saying they miss baseball. It's ridiculous. Baseball has 162 games to have their spotlight, and the Indians went out and disappointed us again in the playoffs. The Astros had the game plan from the Yankees, and it just didn't pan out. So baseball fans, take a back seat, quit tweeting at the Indians, and hang out here and enjoy some football and some basketball, and you'll have your turn in another 150 some days. So that's all I got to say about the Indians. It's football time. It's basketball time. Enjoy the sports that are currently on TV and that are currently in season. Well, that's going to wrap things up for episode 2 of the Everything is Earned podcast. Really appreciate everyone's feedback, all the follows on social media, and all the discussions we've been having about Cleveland sports. We really love Cleveland sports. We love talking about the Browns, the Cavs, the Indians, and we can't wait to talk to you guys some more about it. We'll talk to you all very soon. And just remember, in Cleveland, everything is earned.